How can you multiply three numbers? Think about this question during the lesson. What does a row mean? In which direction does a row go? A row goes across. Look at the quilt sections in the picture. How many rows are there in each quilt section? There are 2 rows in each quilt section. How many factors are in this quilt example? There are 3 factors in this example. There are 3 sections, each containing 2 rows of 4 squares. Drew has to join 3 sections of a quilt. Each section has 2 rows with 4 squares in each row. How many squares in all are in these 3 sections? What are the 3 factors you should use? The 3 factors are 3, 2, and 4.
You can multiply to find the total for an array.
How do you think multiplying 3 factors will be different from multiplying 2 factors? When you multiply 3 factors, you will have to multiply twice. When you multiply 2 factors, you have to multiply only once. One way to solve this is to find 3 times 2 first. By grouping 3 times 2, you get 6 rows with 4 squares in each row. What is the answer?
Select your answer.
There are 24 squares in the quilt. Using this first method, what did you multiply to find the total number of rows? You multiply the 2 rows in each quilt section by 3 quilt pieces. After multiplying 2 by 3 to obtain 6 as the total number of rows, by what number do you multiply 6 in order to find the total number of squares? You multiply 6 rows by the 4 squares in each row. Another way to solve this is to compute 2 times 4 first. By grouping 2 times 4, you get 3 sections with 8 squares in each section. There are 24 squares in Drew's quilt pieces. Using this second method, what total did you find? When you multiply 2 times 4, you find the total number of squares in one quilt section. Then what total do you determine when you multiply 3 times 8? When you multiply 3 times 8, you determine the total number of squares in 3 quilt pieces. What property says that you can change the grouping of the factors and the product will be the same? The associative grouping property of multiplication says that you can change the grouping of the factors and the product will be the same. You know now how to multiply with 3 factors. How would you multiply 5 times 6 times 7? Try it yourself.
Welcome back. Our good friend Carlos is here to help us learn about the associative property of multiplication. The what? Don't worry, Carlos. We'll all learn together. The associative property tells us that the way factors in a multiplication problem are grouped doesn't change the product. Okay, I think that makes sense. We use this property when we are multiplying at least 3 factors. We use parentheses to show how we group the factors, like this. You grouped the 6 times 4 together. Right, but we could group any of the factors together and get the same product. Let's see how. First, we multiply 6 times 4, which equals 24. Then, we multiply 24 times our last factor of 2 and get 48. So, 6 times 4 times 2 is 48. But what if you group 4 times 2 together? Let's try it out. 4 times 2 equals 8. And then we bring in our other factor 6. 6 times 8 equals 48. We got the same answer. The associative property works. You saw there how even though we changed the groupings of the factors, we ended up with the same product. That's how you use the associative property. I'm going to go try it out some more. I like that idea. You can never get too much multiplication practice. See you next time.